Hey everybody, we're coming at you live. This is the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment lifestyle celebrity talk show series. I'm your host, Jim Masters. Once again, reporting for duty here in the host chair here in the New York area in the United States. And hope you guys are doing well wherever you're watching internationally, all around the world, or right here in the backyard in America. We appreciate you being with us and hope you guys are having a good day. It's a nice day here, 82 degrees, sunny at the time of the show today. If you're watching this in the winter, then it might be cold and breezy and snowy. It's 82, sunny. We got a light coastal breeze off the East Coast. It is mighty fine. Speaking of mighty fine, we've got some mighty fine guests joining us here. Coming up right now, my special guests are veterans of the music industry, and they provided lots of great music for all of us. I am talking about acclaimed and celebrated songstress, vocalist, the incomparable Amanda Cole is joining us. You, of course, recall she was with En Vogue as well, that celebrated group. And joining Amanda as they've teamed up to make some beautiful music together, Kevin Flournoy is here. He's a revered and renowned producer, musician, extraordinaire. And as I mentioned, together, they have put together some really spectacular music. And I'm so excited to have Amanda with us and also to have with us here on the show, Kevin. Now, they're coming to us in all these different time zones. We're East Coast, and Kevin is on the West Coast, and Amanda is in the middle. She is Central Time. So got all the different time zones matched up here for all of you. Wherever you're watching, doesn't matter the time zone. We are here to put some smiles on your face and introduce some really cool people. As I mentioned, they have been making some beautiful music together. And here it is, To the Water, featuring, of course, Amanda with the mastery of Kevin at the helm. And we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about what it's all about and how spectacular it is, how you can get it included in your repertoire, fabulous music. But first, before we do that, of course, you remember En Vogue, and of course, our very special guest, Amanda Cole, in that group, and belting out lots of incredible tunes with the ladies of En Vogue over the years. But she is somebody who is a powerhouse, an absolute powerhouse of talent. Her voice, when you hear her sing, not only do you melt, but you want more, truly. The versatility and her technique, magnificently defying conventional music industry wisdom that tells artists and performers to choose and master a single path. Vocalist Amanda Cole has enjoyed a stellar, multifaceted career, sharing the empowering beauty of her instrument in a great variety of genres and settings, from country and R&B to rock, classical, and so much more. And while perhaps best known for her 4 years back in 99 to 2003 as a touring and recording member of En Vogue, the singer who began recording demos in high school for the group's songwriting producers, Denzel Foster and Thomas McElroy. She has performed in touring productions of Ain't Misbehavin', Anything Goes, Dreamgirls, worked as a background vocalist for Tejano singer Rebecca Valdez, sung with jazz saxophonist David Villanueva, aka DV Jazz, and has received rave reviews for performing an 18-song tribute to her idol Whitney Houston with symphony orchestras across the U.S. We're going to talk about how she all got together and with everything that she's done and how it came to hooking up with our other fabulous and noted and revered special guest, Kevin Flournoy. Now, let me tell you about his incredible background for those of you who are watching and saying, boy, this is really amazing. We have a lot of musical talent here on our show today. He's been doing this for a long time as well, and he's collaborated and worked with some of the greatest in the industry throughout the illustrious career. He's had opportunities to work with so many fabulous people. What's really great about Kevin, too, is he's not only somebody who has penned so many great songs like R&B pop vocal track, You're All I Need, featuring Filipino singer Onion Song, winner of Voice Australia, and Anja Nissen and Christine Noel, he also has had opportunities to work with some of the greatest names in the industry. Yeah. Teena Marie, he's written, performed, and recorded over the past 3 decades with Chaka Khan and Babyface, Dionne Warwick, Gladys Knight, Jeffrey Osborne, the Pointer Sisters. You may remember we had the Pointer Sisters on our show recently. Jennifer Hudson, Howard Hewett, Jamie Foxx, just to name the few here that he's had an opportunity to collaborate and work with. The list goes on and on. Kirk, Whalum, and Harvey Mason. He also toured with Donny Osmond for 6 years, in addition to his work with these artists and working on numerous TV projects, including American Idol. Kevin is the creator of an original video music talk program called The K-Flow Show, a fresh take on the traditional music talk show featuring organic live performances by celebrity and independent pop artists too. Conceived as something as a mix between Hugh Hefner's classic TV show Playboy After Dark and MTV's Unplugged and Daryl Hall's Live from Daryl Hall's House. The K-Flow Show takes place in an intimate living room type setting, and they spotlight instrumental performers, TV and film actors, and so much more. He's deeply involved in philanthropic efforts as well as a producer and celebrity recording expert. He's just extraordinary. You put these two together, these powerhouses of talent, and you have some magic. And guess what? That's what we're going to share with you right now on this episode of the Jim Masters Show. So, coming to us from the different time zones, first we have the wonderful Amanda Cole joining us here. Amanda, show coming to us from Arkansas today.
Arkansas, yeah.
Arkansas. Do you say Arkansas or Arkansas or both?
No, we say Arkansas.
We don't say Arkansas.
We don't say Arkansas, no. It's definitely Arkansas.
That's what we say too here on the East Coast. Yeah. And then taking us out to LA. He is from, LA, but he's lived in beautiful San Diego as well. We were talking about how beautiful San Diego is. Kevin is here as well, joining us, another powerhouse in the music industry who has provided us lots of great music. Kevin, welcome to the show, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Good to be here.
Oh, it's so great to have you guys here. And this is really, congratulations. I'm fascinated about how you two linked up with this fantastic project. How did that all come to pass?
Yeah, this I guess Amanda, you that's an interesting story. I know I was inspired. You mentioned before that part of Amanda's presentation when she got to the point where she's doing tributes to Whitney Houston. So I started taking note at that time because I really kind of needed at that time a vocal presentation on top of songs that I've produced in writing that was strong as Whitney. And, you know, that's a rare type of gift to have, to be able to present at that level. So that was my inspiration into reaching out to Amanda. But I think I was introduced to you through a friend of yours, right?
I think so. Was that out? I thought it was through you, the YouTube video. And we connected from the I Have Nothing video. And I think you reached out and was like, you know, I have some things that I want you to. What friend are you talking about, Kevin? Who are you talking about?
The one in Australia. There's the one we have, mutual friend in Australia. No.
Oh, that's right. No.
That's who I was in contact with him when I.
Yeah, that is so true. Hey.
Yes. Remember him? Yeah,
that was so true. Yeah, No's incredible. Wow, yeah.
Kevin is definitely the producer.
Yes.
He keeps everything, time zones and names and people and all together. What would we do without Kevin?
Yes.
As a producer and host myself, I tip my hat to you. I understand what it takes to put it together. So this friend had the idea. Is it Matt or somebody like that, or a friend of Matt, somebody named Matt?
Oh, with To the Water, with our single.
Yes.
Well, a friend of mine from YouTube actually sent that song to me as a cover recommendation. They wanted me to cover the song.
Wow.
And when I heard the song, it was so impactful and so beautiful. I just felt like, you know, I really need to consider maybe sending this to Kevin and getting a different instrumental for it possibly. So I sent it to Kevin. He sent back the most beautiful arrangement. And as I was listening, I was like, I don't think that we really should cover this. I think we need to release this song. This is a highly impactful, very beautiful song. So yeah, Kevin agreed, and we went into pre-production here in Arkansas first, and then post-production in LA. It took a while to get all of these elements together, and Kevin was just genius in putting it together and making this a beautiful, beautiful song.
Tell us about the song and what it's about, and sort of the flavor and vibe of it as well, because I've heard so much about it in advance, and I saw the video. I've seen the song. We're going to tell people how I've heard the song. I'm going to tell people in a minute how they can get the song as well. Tell us what this song is about and how it really connects with people.
Yeah, there's a lyrical content. I'll have Amanda talk about the lyrics and how the lyrically it reaches out to you. Musically, on the production side, like I said, I was attracted to it because it's what you call a big ballad, and those kind of tunes that were big, late 80s, 90s, where you just really can feel they emote and grab you and touch you. So my production technique was follow that. And that's why it took a while, because it's live string players, live group playing, and sometimes that takes a while to make that emote the way that I wanted to emote in terms of the arrangement. And so when I got the song originally, I listened to it and immediately heard that, oh, this is something that I can really get into, sink my teeth into. And so I started to do my thing. And normally what I start off on the piano and play it, and then I'll send it to Amanda so she can see what direction I'm going with it. And then she did her thing, which she can elaborate on.
Well, I love the song because it was actually a very personal experience when I was listening to it for the first time, because I had someone very close to me who was going through a very serious health crisis. And those words in that song were actually words that my grandma said to me. And at the time, I didn't quite understand why she felt the way that she felt. We have this thing in our society where death is not really talked about, and when it is, it's always about fight it. You have to fight for your life, But I think there's a lot of courage in letting go as well, and I learned that just through listening to this song and watching her live the last years of her life, the last months of her life. And the decision that she made really helped me to realize that, it is a choice that you make, and that we'll all have to make if we're given the gift of time, to make that choice and to decide how we want to leave this place. And she did make that choice. My dad, however, didn't have the gift of time. He was taken very suddenly. And I think listening to The Water, I felt to them both. It helped. It was very therapeutic. It helped with my grieving process. And it just helped me to realize that death is a part of life. And we're all going to have to deal with it at some point, even for ourselves. And I just think that giving people the grace to decide how they want to leave is really the point of the song. It's spoken from the point of a person losing someone that they love and care about. And that person letting them know that I will always be with you, but I'm tired of fighting. I'm ready to go. And this is how I want you to remember me. And I don't think we talk about it enough. I don't think there are enough songs that celebrate that as well, because it is very sad, but it's also, there's beauty in that too. And I think To the Water expresses that in a very real and very beautiful way.
So it's a tribute to them both, and a tribute to anybody who has lost a loved one, and to those that have been lost. And death is one of those, and loss is one of those tough topics that we all, deal with in our lives. And we've just been going through this worldwide event where we've seen a lot of passing, and it's just extraordinary. It just reminds us of how precious and how really special life is. It's so fragile. And with all the craziness that goes on in our world and all the I'm here and I'm over there and I'm not listening to you and I'm not talking to you and you don't agree with me and all that nonsense, I think a song like this and material like this is needed now more than ever, just to realize that it's precious and it's a gift, and the clock doesn't rewind. It doesn't stop for any of us. And you want to be able to look back when you're 92 on the rocking chair with the lemonade and say, this has been a good experience. I've been a good person. I brought people together, empathy, compassion, kindness. And you guys, certainly with your tremendous music experience, have the wonderful opportunity and platform to share that with everybody else, like you are with this incredible song and material. Kevin, it must have really been a labor of love for you as well. And I'm sure you can concur with what Amanda just expressed.
Yeah, and it's nice to be a part of a song, because many songs are written. A lot of times it's about love and different other situations. This is very unique. So it was a challenge to produce this, so it would reach out to people who were dealing with loss. And that subject came up a couple of times when we were talking about whether we should do the song and how we should do it, is that this song does focus on loss. And this is a time that as a nation or as people, we have gone through a lot of loss, a lot of extreme loss recently. So it's going to probably reach a lot of people in different ways. So it's been interesting to hear the response. Has been out for a couple of weeks and how it has touched people emotionally. The biggest response I get is that people are listening to it and the tears flow. And that's actually the purpose of music, to motivate, to kind of console your heart, to bring that to the forefront, to make you feel something. So that's like the ultimate compliment in terms of musically, and a compliment to Amanda in presenting her voice and being able to present that to people and make people feel that. And also, it's interesting, when I do a song and produce a song, I tend to have to listen to it 1,000 times when I'm working on it. And so one of the things that was it's a sad part, but the lead guitar player on the song had passed away. And he was a famous, Ramon Stagnaro was his name. And he's a very famous guitar player. And his touch to that, and I tell people the story, he basically did it in one take. He listened to the song and it brought up his guitar and he emoted the whole song. And what you're hearing on the song is him playing at one time.
Wow.
But he was on that level. And it was sad that he had passed, but when I was bringing the song up, it was very emotional, even for myself, knowing that, this person, I can't access that talent for future projects. I had just met him, but I have it here forever.
What is it about now, as far as having this song created and sharing it now? As I was saying, it's the world can really use more of this kind of music and this kind of message about now, right?
Well, the song was given to me during COVID. We actually were in lockdown when we received it, and we had no idea what the future was going to be. And that's another reason why it touched me so deeply. It's because we were losing people so quickly, and people who were so close from this disease. And I just felt like, as Kevin was saying, the way that it touches people, the way it captures your heart. There are people that have sent me messages just within the past week. Someone on my YouTube channel left a message saying that they played this song at their mother's funeral. And it was incredible to me that music that I make touches people the way that it does. There was another lady who sent me a private message saying that this song helped her to grieve her child. She wasn't able to grieve her baby until she heard this song, and she was able to cry for the first time. And to me, that's very impactful and it's meaningful. And I feel like we need more music like that connects us as human beings, that connects us to our humanity. And I really believe that if we get more music like To the Water, we can change the way that we interact with each other, the way that we connect with one another, because that's what music does. It brings us together. So I'm just hoping that Kevin and I can create more music like this, not the same subject matter, but with the same intensity, the same emotion, the same connecting elements. That's what I'm hoping for.
And to tell you the truth, we've already done that because this wasn't the first song that. That's
true. Yes,
we've already had 3 or 4 of them. We were working on at least an EP. So this was 4 or 5 songs down the road. So the first few songs are basic like this. They reach out in an inspirational way, and the subject matter can reach everybody. And you're about to hear that sometime this year. We're working on a couple more.
That's incredible. Yeah. That's really incredible. For you, Kevin, you've worked with, I listed off just a few of the many people. Actually, it made me think, I don't want to forget. We had on the show the other night, and she's spectacular as well, Brenda Russell.
Yes.
What a sweetheart she is. And the folks that she's penned songs for, some of those names too, just a really incredible person as well. And you do it out of passion. It's really what I find about folks like you that are immersed in it, very humble about it. It's one thing that she said, and a lot of people that I get a chance to chat with on this show, whether they're in music or anything else, and in my professional work in television and radio, a lot of people say, well, it really wasn't me. I'm a facilitator, a conduit of energy greater than me. Maybe it's a divine, whatever it might be for them, a certain energy, and it's flowing in and out through me. And that's how these things are created. And Brenda said that. Many others have said that as well. Amanda, do you feel that way too? Do you feel that you're a source of some energy that comes in?
I do feel that way. And that's why with the music that I choose to even cover, I have to be connected to it in some way. It can't just be for, this is a popular song, sing the song. I have to have some type of connection. And when I'm listening and singing, as I'm trying to find my own story in the covers that I do and in the music that I do, there is this thing. I can't describe it. It's like, it when you hear it. So you'll do a take and say, that's not it. And then you'll do it again and say, that's it. You'll hear it and say, okay, that's it. Let's move on. You feel it. There's a thing that's telling you, this is where you go. This is how you sing it. This is how this line goes. And I just follow that. I follow it. And when you don't hit it, you know it, because you'll stop and say, okay, let me do it again, because that's not it. Then you do it again and okay, that's the thing, right? And we call it the thing, right? I can't explain to you what that is. But yes, I completely connect with that. I do. I'm not sure if that's Kevin's experience, but he knows that that's my experience because he's in the studio with me, and he'll say, "Okay, Amanda, I feel where you're going, but I need you to come back this way." But I do. I have a way of. I vocally produce myself most of the time. So I have a formula that I use for my covers and the way that I produce my own vocals. And working with Kevin was an education. You have to know how to make a record. And covers have already been recorded. So I just take the elements that are there and make my own story from that. But starting from scratch, you have to have a producer that is very knowledgeable about how to make an album, how to make a record, and how to make it sound like a record. And that's something that Kevin has taught me. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes you do need a little bit more. Sometimes, going that direction is not the direction you should go. Maybe staying right there is where you need to be. Because I remember when I demoed the song, it was a totally different song, was it not, Kevin? It was the Amanda Cole demo, right?
It was a start. It was a start. We're gonna get into it.
But when you get into the studio with him, he's like, okay, this is what will make it what it needs to be. Because he knows, he's been there, he's done it. And I trusted him because of his experience. And because everything we've ever tried has always worked. So as a singer, you have to, have confidence in your ability, but also have the presence of mind to know when to listen and when to take direction. And Kevin is someone that I can trust with that. I don't trust every producer with that, but Kevin is someone that I do trust. So we're able to make beautiful music that way.
And that's what I said. You guys are making beautiful music together. How does that make you feel, Kevin, when you hear Amanda say that, in terms of the energy that flows through her, but also what the process was like working with you and how she really put her total faith and trust in you? She's got the talent, and she's really trusting in you to guide and support and mentor and encourage, and as you have, and she absolutely loves, and the result is this fabulous music.
Great.
How does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel happy because because that's a hard thing. The trust factor is very difficult, and a larger percentage of the time, I'm not able to get there with the artists. So especially these days where people are independent, can make their own decisions, and they feel like they know something that they don't know, are not relying upon the experience that I have. Because I have that particular gift, and you talked about it, where I'm guided by the years of being in the business. There's a God-given gift involved in that. It's a mixture of things that tells me what should be sang, what kind of string should be on the cut, a million different decisions in the production. And so over the years, I honed in on that gift, focused it to where I'm able to present, where people are reacting to it like they are with the music I'm doing with Amanda. So having, sitting and listening to Amanda's perspective on trusting what I have, it makes the project, that's the only way basically you can be super successful. Because if the trust is not there, it becomes a tug of war, and there's an antagonistic type thing going on. And then sometimes I might acquiesce, and I said, well, that's not exactly the best solution, but you want the best solution. It's very competitive in the music business. You need better than the best. So you need that trust factor, so you can both go down that road at the same time and reach that level that you're reaching for. So this is, and the fact that she has the talent. I know you're standing right there. You have the talent. You have the talent to actually deliver. Delivery is a big word with songs like this. Delivery is everything. You can take this same song, and I can have 10 other singers that I work with sing to the water, and it won't convey the same emotion the same way, because that's a gift too, being able to do that. A lot of the stars that, say, the people I've worked with on the road, with the Gladys Knight, even Donny, they have gifts and vocals in the way they present their vocals on stage and on recordings. So this is a gift to me, to be able to be trusted by someone who can really help promote this type of music. And I'm going to be excited for you to hear some of the other stuff we've been working on.
Yeah.
That is really, really cool. Yeah. Of course, people know you as well, originally, Amanda, with the popular group En Vogue.
Hi, girls. Oh, man. Oh, wow. Yeah.
I tell you, huh?
That's my family. I love them. Those are my girls. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, a very popular group everybody loves. And, the amount of material and great songs and beats and just phenomenal music. How did that happen? How did you have the opportunity to, be a part of such an iconic group as En Vogue? How'd that come about for you? And how did you even start in singing? What inspired you initially? Did you come from a musical family, Amanda?
Oh, no, but my family loves music. No one in my family can sing. But my mom and dad played music every day. I mean, it was Luther Vandross, Peebo Bryson, Anita Baker, Regina Bell, Brenda Russell, Roberta Flack. It was that music. It was Donny Hathaway. It was that music that I woke up to. So every morning, my mother would play something. So I was always surrounded by music. And then, of course, in church, I went to a Methodist church, so we weren't, like the Baptist churches. We didn't have the same vocal stylings, but I did sing in the choir, and I did start singing in church. And in high school, like you mentioned before, I would fly to LA, I would fly to Burbank to record background vocals for local artists and for some established artists too. And that's how I met Tommy and Denny. I actually did background vocals for Premiere, one of their groups that they were producing. And I would do the background vocals, I would demo stuff for them. And that's how we met initially. And then I met Terry through a friend of mine. So we were already friends. And when the group broke up, of course, it was a devastating thing. And I never thought that they would try to bring in different people. But when they asked me to be a part of this incredible brand, it was, I can't even describe how incredible that was, because they're very protective of their image. I mean, I grew up watching these women, and they were, you know, the guideposts for what I wanted to be when I decided to become a singer. So being in the same space and being allowed to share this wonderful thing they had already created was just incredible. And I couldn't thank them more for that experience, because it was a very good experience. I still love them to this day for that. But like, you know, I was young, and being on that stage that big, I'd never done anything like that in my life. And I was the very first replacement member. So going from my couch to a stage of 40, 50,000 people, it was overwhelming. It was exciting, but it caused me a lot of anxiety because I was stepping into a brand that people were in love with. They loved these women, and they still do. But it was a difficult transition for them, because they were used to seeing They were used to seeing those faces, and those women stood on their own right, on their own talent individually. So everybody had their favorite. Everyone contributed to the music in a different way. They were all lead vocalists. So stepping into that was difficult. It was hard. It was hard work, but they made it work because they welcomed me so graciously. Everyone in their team, from their management to Tommy and Denny, the girls, even the girls who weren't still in the group, called to give me advice. I mean, it was just like a family. It was wonderful. Unfortunately, I wasn't prepared for it. It was something that when you step into something that huge, there's a level of preparation that you need. And I just didn't feel prepared.
What did you learn from it? What are some of the things you gained? You know, there's the notoriety, and it helps the career and all the rest, and you get this friendship. But as Amanda, the human, the person, what are some things Amanda learned about herself as a result of being a part of such an iconic group, the opportunities, and also the people you met along the way, and the exposure, all of it? What did you learn? What did you take from it?
Well, I learned that you have to know what you want. You have to be very clear in your direction. And I met so many people, and it was very exciting, but it was also, like you said, it was very educational. I found out a lot about the business. I learned a lot about what it would take to be in that space, and decided that that wasn't representative of who I was at that time. I wanted to represent myself in a different way. And I felt like the direction that music was going then was not, you know, it wasn't what I wanted. And so I decided that I wanted something different. And I think that as an artist and as a singer, you have the right to change, and you can be literally whatever you want to be. It just depends on what you want. If you want to be famous, you can be that, but there's a price that comes with that. And are you willing to pay that price? And a lot of people are willing to do that. At the time, it was too high for me. So I decided to do something else. I decided to become a mom, and that's what Beautiful. I did that's what I did until now. Now that they're gone, I'm trying to, reinvent, try to find my way back. Right. And even then, when I was singing with En Vogue, my voice was very different. I didn't have the same voice. So even in that growth over those years, my voice has turned into something that is very different from what it was in that group. But it was an experience. Yeah.
You both will appreciate this. We had a legendary person who is a dear friend of mine and of our show, and he's been on 3 times, and he was just on recently, just maybe last week, and he wrapped up his almost 70-year live stage touring singing career, and that's Tony Orlando, the famous Taya Yellow River. Almost 70 years. And he was a music executive. He influenced so many people. It's just one of the sweetest guys on earth, Tony. And he said in the last conversation we had, and it ties into what you just said, Amanda, which is so true. We were talking about, now he has a guy that's, been doing this almost 70 years, 7 decades, all these hits, 100 million records sold, and just unreal. And one of the nicest guys, very charitable too, philanthropic. He talked about fame, and he said, fame is a mirage.
It's an illusion.
He said it's an illusion. He said it's great. He loves it, but he also knows that it's fleeting, that it can take you down the wrong paths, and that you have to have a grounding and people around you and support and love of family and all of those things. There has to be a reason why you're doing what you're doing in addition to the love for it. But that fame itself is nothing. It's in the air. It's not even tangible. And that's to hear that from, Tony Orlando and folks who've been doing it such a long time. It's kind of cool to hear that, and I'm sure you both agree, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I put that under the category of keeping your focus on being balanced in life. How have you done that, Kevin? What's your secret? Yeah, we tend to be workaholics, so it's a constant battle. The balance can come from, for me, sometimes it comes from the fact that I actually truly enjoy what I do when I'm sitting down to write a song. It's not like work, or write or produce or orchestrate something, even though it is work at some instances, it's not. Same thing with playing. There's certain things that I do, or certain groups that I play with live, that is more about the people who are playing, the quality of music. For instance, I play in a group that does sort of African fusion. I've been doing that for years. And it was more of an intellectual journey for me when I started to figure out how to play keyboards in the context of playing with an African group, and actually led me to the last 2 years to play in Africa, which I do every year, a couple times a year now. So that's something that strikes balance with the work and the stress, because quite honestly, there's some kind of thing, like they say, I got to put fires out. And it's because we're dealing with different personalities and people in the industry who do different things for you, whether it's management, whether it's whatever, all the needs that you have as an artist. And there's different personalities you're juggling. And so it can become a drain if you just focus on that or deal with that on a daily basis without having that balance. And, and that's part of that, I guess what Tony Orlando was saying, that's part of that fame with all the people around you, the entourage. And I witnessed that since I toured with people who sell millions of records, and it could be here today and gone the next week. And that's the reality of it. And so, but if you focus your life and make sure you're hanging with your family, focused on your own self, developing yourself. And if you have talent, spend time getting better and better every day at what you do, because nobody can take that away from you. When you're good, you're good. And that's what I do. I strike that balance in life. And, a treat in terms of working with Amanda, this is a treat for me, because like I said, it's very rare that I can find a vocalist who can kind of deliver music at that level, because we're in an environment where it's an independent environment now. Back in the record companies, you have rosters and they can put you with people. But now you have to find somebody yourself that's at your level. So that puts me in a situation where I only have a few people I can really call to present that. So that's a balance, to be able to hear music in a product like To the Water. That's balancing for me, because that's a successful journey.
That's really, really cool. What was it like touring with Donny Osmond?
I laugh because these artists like that have sense of humor that you would know if you watch the show.
Sure. So
I tell people backstage, we used to tour different places all over the world actually, and backstage for a moment we had a little video series going on, and pranks would be had, and things would be going on backstage. When I first started playing with him, it was interesting to witness that. And I call Donny Osmond is a musician. And what that means is, even though he had his own tour bus, and we had our own thing, a bus behind him while we were toured in the U.S., a lot of times you see him with us because he's hanging with the band, and his bus is empty, right? And so he's hanging with us because that's who he is. He's a real
with you guys, right?
A real dancer, a real actor. So that was an exceptional thing for me. It happened early on in my career when I started touring, and then we went overseas also. And so, aside from the point that he's been doing it since he's 5 years old. So that's something.
Puppy love.
Yeah, exactly. And to see that the people who are his fans follow him for years and years and years, and they're there at the concerts.
Loyal, yeah.
Yeah, loyal.
Well, that's with Tony Orlando. That's what it was when he did his final one. He did it at Mohegan Sun, and it was 10,000 people packed. We were there, and he did. It was his final one, and the ladies of Dawn showed up and surprised him. All these other people came on stage that he knew for years. Cousin Brucey from WABC in New York introduced him, who was the first DJ to introduce him all those years ago in New York on radio. It was epic, full band, all the hits, lots of other things. Salute to the veterans. He did a salute to World War I, please stand up. World War II, Vietnam, Korea, all of it, Afghanistan. And he did 3.5 hours. He's 80 now. 3.5 hours, no interruptions or intermissions.
Wow.
Could you imagine?
I could not imagine that.
Could you imagine that?
That's incredible. That's amazing.
That's that real old school, deliver it, and just because he would tease the audience. Hey, you having a good time? Do you want me to keep going? All right, let's keep. It was just, and then he said that he wanted to, it was a tease, but he wanted to beat Bruce Springsteen's record, because I think Bruce Springsteen was like 3 hours and 2 minutes or something. So Tony had to beat that. They're friends. And he did like 3:30. And then he
legitimately beat it.
He literally beat it. And he did a whole backroom VIP press conference kind of thing, thanking everybody throughout the whole night. It was incredible. And then when he went home, and you'll appreciate, like you say, the fans, he's in Branson, Missouri. That's where they live now. And he landed at the airport, and there were all these people waving, welcome home, all holding yellow ribbons. And the entire town and all the theaters were tied in yellow ribbons. How cool is that, huh? When you have things like that, you guys have been responsible for a lot of incredible music. And Kevin, the body of work is extraordinary. And all of these epic people that you've had an opportunity to work with, including Amanda, it's like the soundtrack of our lives. Do you ever pinch yourself when you're in the studio working with somebody? Do you ever look back and say, this is pretty sweet? I can't believe, when I was 12, I wanted to do this, but I'm actually doing this. And I have these people in the room with me. I kind of like this.
Yeah, that happens all the time with me. Since I'm a freelance performer, and it's happened with Chaka Khan. So what they usually do is they'll send me we call it a board tape of a concert when I'm learning how to play their, they've hired me on and I'm getting ready to come on and do a concert. So I'll get a board tape from somebody like Chaka Khan. I remember getting one from Dionne Warwick, and I'll sit at the piano and there'll be music. And so I'm playing through the music. And like I tell people now, a lot of those classic songs I already know how to play, but I have to learn how to play them the right way. And so I begin playing and I'm listening, and this predates though. There's going to be a rehearsal coming up, and playing them. I say these are the classic songs, like Dionne Warwick's example. I'm playing "That's What Friends Are For," for instance. Yeah. And so that's something that's this classic, and the reality, a pinch yourself moment that okay, now I'm playing it with it. And I'm getting ready to be on stage playing that song as she presents it to her audience. And that has happened. The first time it happened with a group called The Emotions, and they had that song that hit "You Got the Best of My Love."
Oh yeah.
And these songs I used to listen to in high school. We're dancing. We're dancing to these songs. And the pinch me moment was that being at the rehearsal, I had all three singers around me because we had a little what I call a sectional, and I'm playing through the songs, and they're singing it, and their voices are angelic, perfect. And they're just right there in front of me. And I'm thinking about, I was just in high school dancing to this. And here I am playing with the artist. It's an incredible moment.
It really is. It really is. And I'm sure you've had those moments and experiences too, Amanda, over the years, huh?
I have, yes. I really have. I didn't produce anybody, but I have certainly worked with people that I've watched. Of course, I'd been, I'd idolize these people, and I found myself on stage with them. I actually did a demo for Whitney. And that was incredible. She heard it. I met her years later and met her in the studio.
Wasn't there talk of you being like the next Whitney or something? They were sort of
not me. Not me at the time. I think I know who you're talking about, though. But she is an idol of mine as well. I listened to her when I was in school too. I think you're talking about Wendy. Yes, she was phenomenal. So she was someone else that I listened to, Wendy Moulton. And yes.
Yes.
So yes, she was someone else, but I would do demos, like I said, in high school for people. And I was asked by Mike Money, who worked with Narda, who actually produced Whitney, to do a demo of a song called Nothing Left to Say. And I did that demo. I went to Tarpan Studios, and I listened to the mix, and and Narda came by and he was like, okay, it's okay. I'll let her hear it, but I don't know. And she heard it. And of course she was like, nah, I hate it. So that was a bust. But then years later, I was in the studio doing demos for people. And I was working with some producers that had worked with her before. And she was in the building. And she came into the room and she was like, I knew I recognized that voice. I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it. That was, I think, the most incredible time. I can't even find words now to express to you how I felt just seeing her walk through the door and say, I knew I recognized that voice. And then she said, I don't like that song either, but you got a good voice. And that was about all she said to me. She talked to them and then she left. And I said, I'm going to sing for the rest of my life. Whitney Houston said, I have a good voice. So I remember that. That is a memory that I will always hold on to. She has always been, since I was very young, she was the very first cassette tape that I bought from we called them superettes. I don't know what y'all call them now, just corner stores. And it was Saving All My Love for You in a cassette tape. And I played that tape out. She was everything. I saw myself in her. I wanted to be like that. Yeah. She was the image that I wanted. She was the one, right? Yeah. And for so many people, for so many girls like me. Right. So I did get a chance to meet her.
I was going to ask, did you ever get a chance to meet her and express that?
Yeah. Well, no, I never got a chance to say those things to her. I wish that I had. But I never got a chance. We actually worked. I saw her in passing a lot of times because we were on tour with New Edition. We opened for them. So we were on tour with Bobby. So she would be there. But I never got a chance to really talk to her and let her know how impactful she was to my life. And that's regrettable. But I'm pretty sure she knew how important she was to us and to the culture. I think she really knew that. And someone else that I met and had I was so fortunate to meet, was Michael Jackson. And that was a surreal experience as well. So I feel very fortunate. I feel like I'm living a life that most people just dream. I was a young person back then, So I was living a life that most people dreamed of. And but I did get to see the industry, how it really was. And watching Michael, watching Whitney, seeing them even after, it was a surreal experience to just know that those are people that I actually worked with. And to be able to say that I was influenced by them, and eventually I got a chance to experience them in person. Yeah, it was pretty great. It was pretty, just like with En Vogue though. It was the same thing. You would sit and watch them on TV, and then you're in the room with them, and then you're on stage with them, and it's like, what is this life? What is this? So yeah, it's pretty great. I can't complain.
Any specific memories that also stand out for you, Kevin, in that similar vein where you are saying, in addition to what you've already shared, wow, I really, this is somebody I've always admired. And it might even be somebody that's, a fellow musician and performer as well, or producer, that you're like, this is pretty cool.
I do have several moments. And one of the first ones when I first moved back to LA from San Diego was, and I have pictures of these moments of me sitting with Stevie Wonder in his penthouse on the piano, and we're hanging out, playing, and that right there early on in my career was a major, wow, what's happening here. And so he would have, like, he had a function sometimes up in his penthouse, and he'd have a couple of musicians come up, and I was just one of them that came up, and he sat and talked with me. We played a little something together on the piano, and somebody caught pictures of us playing. He would say, "Yeah, what do you like to play?" And I would play. He said, "Do you know?" And he asked me, did I know a particular song of his that was somewhat obscure, and I didn't know that. I said, "Oh, I lost that one." I didn't know that song. But we actually played together, and we talked that day. And then I think it happened a couple times back, if my memory serves me. But the pictures are incredible that I got of us sitting down and playing. And it's outside the thing where it's not a music event, it's not a major concert. So Stevie's in a very relaxed mode, and so you're just kind of hanging out with him. So that was a major moment there.
That is so cool, huh?
Yeah.
How did you get your start, Kevin? What inspired you? And did you have music all around you growing up? How did you get involved in it?
I actually did. I come from an entertainment family. So music and dance and arts and theater, it was the thing. So if you were a kid in my family, you're going to be dabbling in that, whether you go further later on in life with that or not. And so that's how I got my starts from my parents, and focusing me on music and give me the opportunity to choose. Do you like this? And so I had a passion for it and kept it up during high school all the way into college. And that's how I got to where I was.
What was that one moment that you think was a pivotal and important door opening moment, break, whatever it may be, however you call it, that really solidified things or just got that door open wider for you? Is there a couple of moments like that stand out?
Yeah, there's a couple. There's one which I discovered that I can play the keyboards and make somebody feel something, which is kind of like a superpower.
It is.
I was about 16 when that happened, and I'm playing a solo, and somebody stood up and said, hollered out, and they was enjoying the solo. And the first time that happened, it was my mom. But the second time, when somebody else did it, it was like, wow, this is a powerful gift to have. So, and later on, at the end of college, I had that fork in the road. So I was studying both sciences and music. And so I had to make a major decision. I had been offered a record deal as a producer and writer, and also been offered a job to be an engineer. So that was a major time when I was being offered those musical situations and contracts that I said, well, there's something must be worthwhile here. They're seeing something in what I'm doing that would probably be successful if I went down that path. But that was a major decision I made, and that's when I moved back to LA and started this journey.
Which is amazing, and we are so happy that you did. It's really incredible. We all have people that inspire us in our lives, and we have people that we look to for some of that guidance. You guys have forged this wonderful friendship and this mutual. One of the key beautiful things is when you're working with people in the industry who understand the importance of respect and honoring each other's talents and lifting one another up when one isn't so excited that day. and still working towards the ultimate goal of the creation of this magic. And it seems, as we're seeing here just in this conversation on our show, that's something, that's a wonderful friendship and deep understanding of each other's gifts that the two of you have, that allow you to freely and effortlessly, with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and all that other rewrites and this and try it this way and all the things that have to happen. Still, there is this underpinning of mutual admiration for one another, honoring each other's gifts, and combining all of that to create this musical magic, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I've known Kevin a while. What, 2015, Kevin?
Yes.
I mean, he's like my family. He's like my brother. So it's easy to trust him. It's easy to have him criticize me and my ego not getting away. Because like I said, he's like my family. So yeah, I mean,
and that's a process. It doesn't happen on the first day.
No, no, it does not.
She was looking at me a certain way the first week.
You didn't get that eye. Did you get the eye?
You got the eye. He did.
Got the eye.
Oh, because he produced the song, right? Yeah, because we were working on a soundtrack at first. That was the very first project we ever worked on.
Yeah, I love
was the Muhammad Ali GOAT, greatest of all time. And it was Kevin sent me the instrumental, majestic, beautiful. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll see what I can write to it. So I wrote this song, incredible song. And I think, are we gonna release that song too? Because that song it's on my YouTube channel. It's called The Greatest of All Time. And it was a tribute to Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, it's not official released yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah, I think we should. But that was one of the first times we worked together.
You heard that here on the Jim Masters show, folks. We have a graphic for that. We call it a JMS exclusive.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, that was the very first song that we ever recorded together. And yeah, we had some tense moments during that production because like I said, I vocally produced myself with my covers and all of those things. So I had a certain way of doing things. Kevin had a certain way of doing things. And, we didn't know each other. So I didn't really know him I didn't really trust him like I do now. So doing that was very different than how To the Water Is Gone, because I was relentless in what I wanted. Okay, I hear what you're saying, Kevin, but this is what, this is what I was saying. I wrote it. So I know I was supposed to go. And he's like, okay. And he was very gracious, I was new at it. Right. So I didn't understand it at the time. But as I grew as a songwriter, as I grew as an artist, I started to understand the importance of guidance and direction and having another ear to say, you know what? Okay. And trusting that ear too. It's important to have that. And so the final result of The Greatest of All Time is still mine. It's still my production, my vocal production, but it's with Kevin's guidance in a lot of areas in that song, because I came in strong. I came in real strong, but I learned to, lay back, lean back a little bit, give it space to breathe. That's where I learned, a song is living and it needs, space. And in those spaces, there's beautiful things in that space as well. And
what's so true about that is, and I can understand and relate to what you're saying, when you've thought it, nurtured it, tweaked it, babied it, created it, it is like your baby. Mm-hmm. So you're going to really want to protect it. What the feeling was like as you were creating that art, whether it's sculpture, a painting, whatever it is, music, anything that is, of a creative nature. So it's like it's like an author. I've asked authors, I imagine the characters you have in your book, your novel, they must be like children to you. You must be really protective of those characters. And they're like, absolutely, I nurture them and they are like my kids. So when you have something like that, so to be able to allow yourself to have others come in to offer some tips and guidance and maybe try it this way and tweak a little here. And it takes time to be able to do that, but it's wonderful to do that. And Kevin being somebody who is very entrenched in the industry and working with so many different personalities, so many different understandings. He has this unique gift of knowing how to approach each talent, each person in a gingerly but yet confident way to get it done, so it does get done. And that's fantastic, isn't it, Amanda?
It is. It really is. And you do have to have a level of maturity as well to know that criticism it's not criticism to me, it's instruction to me. And I know that when I'm working with someone, they're working with me too. They're doing the same thing. So they're not going to do something that is going to be detrimental to what I'm trying to do. It's just like being a parent. Your kids look at you kind of crazy, but you tell them, I'm not going to tell you anything wrong, girl. Just listen to me, right? So I try in being, in growing as an artist, I don't take correction as criticism. I'm always looking to learn. I'm always looking to grow. So if you can give me a different perspective, I'm always willing to venture into that perspective. I'm never going to say, well, no, I'm not going to try that. Why are you saying that? I think that this, and I try to relinquish my ego when I'm doing music, because music is a gift to me. I was given this. I was born with this. And it is my job to give this gift to the world. And you can't do that when you're standing in your own way. So I have to relinquish my ego. I can't take every instruction as criticism, and just really try to make the best music possible. That's my ultimate goal, is to make music that is going to be impactful to people and that's going to touch people. And with someone like Kevin, I knew that he worked with Whitney. So I'm like, okay, he must know something. I knew that he worked with Chaka Khan, all the people that I love. So I'm like, okay, he might be onto something. So I'll listen a little bit. That was the first time.
He's been around the block a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned Whitney Houston and your honor of her and love of her. What was it like working with her, Kevin?
Well, actually, the truth of the story, I worked with her team. So which means that Whitney had developed musicians that have wrote for her and that performed with her on her touring. When I moved back after college to Los Angeles, I was able to work with all those people. And sometimes there would be a Whitney Houston tribute, but be exposed to the way that they played music, all the stories of touring with Whitney. Of course, I worked with Dionne Warwick, so that was part of the family. So she used to sing background for with that, and so this is learning the stories of how people or how artists come to be who they are is very important.
Yes.
Learning that.
I mentioned that we had as guests just before Anita passed, Anita Pointer and Ruth Pointer. And fabulous talents, fabulous people, and a hilarious episode of our show. I encourage anybody to go back in our archives on the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and see that incredible conversation. And I call these conversations, not interviews, that we had with Anita Pointer and Ruth Pointer. And you had an opportunity to work with them as well. What was that like?
So that was like it is now, because I'm going to be working with them for the rest of this year. They're working, and so we start in July, and so I've been working with them for might be 15 years now as their keyboard player, and I work with them in the studio in terms of doing certain things in the studio. So I have many stories.
Yeah, well, it was funny and of course we lost Anita, beautiful Anita, but it was very funny when Anita was in one location, kind of like we are in 3 different locations, East Coast, West Coast, and Central. They were in different locations. It was hilarious. And they were so open about, their upbringing originally in Oakland and all the things that they did and how it all happened. Fabulous people. We just clicked immediately. And it was funny because Ruth was in an apartment or her penthouse, whatever, and Anita was in her house, and Ruth had this huge thing that she lit up and started smoking. And Anita goes, what do you have there now, Ruth? Is that a bong? Live on the show, and it was hilarious.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
She was in a puff of cloud of smoke.
And speaking of hilarious, there's no other group that I've ever played with where it's constant laughter. And it permeates down to the actual musicians. If the comedy was on camera, it'd be a whole show in itself.
Yeah.
And so it's always so at this point where I don't play with as many people now, it's kind of I call it a little business mixer and something enjoyable, because we're getting ready to have some laughs when we go.
Absolutely right.
We'll be all through the country, East Coast, everywhere. We're playing everywhere.
Well, keep me abreast of that, because when you come to the East Coast, I'd love to be there and see you guys and say hello. That would be awesome, you know.
Yeah, I'll let you know. There's a lot of
Amanda,
dates.
same thing with you as well. We all have blessings and joys in our life that keep us doing what we're doing. And you have this fabulous music out. You're going to be working together more with more music. And we tip the hat to you both for this accomplishment. And what are some of the blessings and joys in your life, Kevin, that keep you going all these years and keep you creative and wanting to do this?
Yeah, I one of the things that comes to mind is that my family, have a daughter, seeing them go through life and being inspired by some of the things I'm doing, and vice versa. Like my daughter, she's when she was young, she studied music, violin. So it's inspiring for me to go to her concerts, to see her do her thing. Half my family are dancers. So I have an older sister who's a professor at Mesa College in San Diego. So sometimes I'm a part of what she's doing. So being a part of the different aspects of my family members is inspirational to me and keeps me going, because when it's an up and down situation with life, with this business, and on the down part where things are rough, I can always make that call. And in my case, I actually drive out to San Diego, take a couple of days and sit at my mom's place and get my powers back, and then go back to LA to do the fight. And so a lot of inspiration comes from family.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. And Amanda, how about you?
Exactly the same. That is exactly the same.
And
Kevin,
you're a mom too.
I am. And he's exactly right. You know, this is a tough business, and my kids follow me. They follow me and they give me instruction. I'm inspired most by them, because they are so beautiful and so smart. And they don't sing. Kendra sings, my baby sings, and she's growing into her voice. And my other babies don't sing, but they're very inspiring to me. They work really hard in school. They're very responsible, and it just makes me proud. It makes me very proud to have them be my kids and to be their mom. And I know that they look at me and say, you know, I think my mom's pretty cool. They tell me that often. So I'm very blessed, very, very blessed.
As it says on the wall behind you.
Very blessed. I see it every day. I'm reminded every day.
That's not product placement, folks. She lives that. That's in the heart and soul.
True message. Yeah. True message.
What do you guys hope people are left with? And we'll tell them, you know, how they can hear the music and all the rest. But what do you hope they're left with when they hear this song?
Yeah. From my standpoint, I'm hoping they listen to the lyrics and be moved by the music and left with being encouraged, which music can do for you. Be inspired, be encouraged, and actually hopeful in terms of if they're dealing with any types of loss, that this is something they can listen to and go there as a safe place for them to go there and be warmed by the musical sounds and the vocals and that Amanda has presented on the song. And I just hope that they get something from that.
Yeah, same for me. That's the same for me. Exactly the same. Yeah.
When you guys are both performers as much as songwriters and all the rest, and Kevin, an iconic record producer, when you are performing, are you transported to another time and place? Are you in a real zone when you are doing your thing? Amanda, I see a head shaking.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us, what's that? It's hard to put in words, but what is that like?
It is hard to put into words. It's right before it's anxiety, but once the first note comes out, it's a blank. I don't come back into myself until after it's done. And that is real. That's something that I experience every single time I'm on stage. Because if you think about it, then you start to overthink, and then you start to forget lyrics. You're not on pitch. It becomes about you. It's not about the song. So I tend to try to take myself and my emotions out of performing and just allow the music to move me, allow my voice to do what it's trained to do. And when it's all done, I can say, okay, that's great. Or I can say, okay, I need to work on that a little bit, but it's going to be what it's going to be. And I allow it to be that. Because, creativity is expansive. It's, it's spiritual. And I mean, I think I heard someone say that we are all music in motion. And so when I'm on stage, I really feel that. I feel that I am telling a story that is going to connect with people in a way that is going to be transformative. That is my goal when I step on stage. And I find that I can't really do that when I'm in myself, when I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to sing for myself. Then it becomes about what do I sound like? Am I riffing the right riff? Am I doing the right, It's not about the song, it's about me. So I really try to take myself out of the performance. And I try to tell the story in a way that is connected. And I try to connect the audience to the song that I'm singing. So yeah, it's surreal. Live performance is fun. I love doing it. I do even on my YouTube channels. When I'm done singing, I keep the camera rolling to let people know this is some hard stuff. One time I just fell out. I was like, this is crazy. What are you doing? But it's fun. It's really fun. I enjoy it.
And live, like I say, we're doing this live right now. It'll be archived as well. But there is something about live. It can be scary and daunting. It's like being on a tightrope. But the adrenaline and all cylinders firing and the challenge of the fact that anything can happen. I mean, you're at your best, but you really have to be on point and spot on because it's live and there's really no opportunities to go back because it's live. And doing all these years of live radio and television, it's just, there's something about it that's really exhilarating. And Kevin, you too, I would imagine, when you are, producing or when you're performing, you go into sort of Kevin's world, a zone, right?
Yeah, there's a thing that I can talk about that unless you actually play instrument within a group, you may or may not understand what's happening. But what happens there, say there's 4 people in the group, there's a language that we're talking to each other, and it's no different than learning English, Spanish, it's a whole different language happening, but we're not saying a word. And it's by the way we're moving through our instruments. It's very high level, kind of telepathic thing that happens. That becomes exhilarating and exciting. Even in the studio when we're recording, on stage when we're playing certain songs for certain artists, this is happening. And of course, it has to be a mature musician who's able to, at a developed stage in their career, to be able to speak that language. And so this is what's exhilarating to me. It's very risky because it doesn't always work. Sometimes you go left when you should have went right. But most of the times that mind melt thing happens. And sometimes we smile at each other. I knew you were going to do that. And it's just a thing that happens within the group that really puts me in a certain space in terms of my music, and it's exhilarating to me. And another thing too, in terms of being organic, Donny Osmond used to have his show. One of his shows he would have a smaller piano at the front of the stage. He rolled it out to the front, and him and I would play. I'm just playing with him. And aside from that being terrifying, because when you play like acoustic piano on stage in an arena that holds 10 or 15,000, the piano is powerful. When you hit it down, it's just, the sound is powerful. So if you make a mistake, that's going to be powerful too. And so for some reason, trying not to think about that is hard. and every night, I hated that part of the show.
Right.
But don't you find, Kevin, that audiences are really forgiving though? They really are.
Half the stuff that I hear, they're not hearing anyway.
Yeah, they don't hear it.
Right, exactly.
They don't experience it the way that we experience it.
No, they don't. They don't hear it. But those moments are very special because a certain thing, because I'm following as Donny sings the song. There's no tempo, so I'm listening to him, and I did the same thing with Melissa Manchester, who you mentioned just recently, and so she sings a couple kind of Broadway type songs on the set, and it's for me sometimes it's terrifying because we're just out there. It is me and your real skill, and you have to mind melt with the vocalist or the ensemble. And yeah, there's a certain language that's being spoke in those cases, which I love it.
She mentioned something. She was a guest 3 times on our show, and she is extraordinary. She's such a gifted and warm, beautiful person with her heart in her sleeve as well. And one of the things I asked her, which is interesting for the two of you as well, is, how are you inspired? What inspires you to write all these amazing songs, Melissa Manchester? And she said, Jim, she said, sometimes the inspiration comes not when I'm ready for it or I'm expecting it or hoping to just have it happen. I could wake up from a nap on the couch. I could come out of one room and walk into the other room in my house, and all of a sudden I'm hit with an inspiration. I can come out of a sleep and there's a dream that's still happening. So I said, well, what do you do when that inspiration is hitting you wherever you are? She said, well, if I'm in the house, I run to the piano and I've got a recorder there and I press record and I just start hitting the piano keys, and whatever's happening is happening then, and I'm capturing it and savoring it, because if I wait, it'll dissipate, it'll weaken, it'll disappear. So it can hit me at any time. And I run to that piano and I record it and I work it out and I save it. Do you guys do something similar?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
What do you use? I use the voice app on the iPhone. I got to get it right then, or else I'll forget 10 minutes later what it was.
Right. The same.
You do the same? Okay.
Same thing. When you send me a track and I'm trying, just like with Hold On, remember Hold On? Mm-hmm. Kevin sent me a track called Hold On. And it was, I've never written music like this ever. I'm used to writing big ballads, beautiful things. This was more like a churchy kind of a, and gospel-y kind of thing. And
yeah.
Like I said, I grew up in Methodist church. So we weren't like, that wasn't us. We were like, glory be. We were more like that. So when he gave it to me, at first I was like, why are you sending me this, Kevin? And I promise you, the second time I listened to it, it took me half an hour to write the whole song. And he had a demo in half an hour. It didn't take me long because it was just there. It just came so quickly. And I think it had a lot to do with what we were going through at the time too. Yeah. We just had an election and then we had all this crazy stuff going on. So the song is like, we just have to hold on. Just keep pushing, keep moving, and things will be okay. Just don't give up. Just keep moving. And it came really quickly. And I really like the song now. Before I thought I was writing it for someone else. And I think that's why it was so easy to write, because I wasn't writing it for me. I thought I was writing it for someone else. But then I was like, I think I want to sing this one. I like this one. It was good. It's a good song.
You'll be hearing that soon too.
Yes.
Yes. JMS exclusive.
Another exclusive, right?
We're scoring them tonight on the Jim Master Show. Same thing with you. When you are inspired, do you run to an instrument, or like you said, you do the phone, right? You try to record, Kevin, whatever is going on into the phone to save it.
Yeah, I have 2 things going. I have the phone app, and that's just to sing. It might be just an idea, a few notes, because in my experience, sometimes I would think, I can remember that later, and never have remembered any of it. so I stopped doing that. So I do that. But most of the time, if I say I'm going to write a song, I will sit there and write a song. I'll sit in front of the keyboards and just start doing that.
What do you like to do more? Are you the producer who loves to perform, or are you the performer who loves to produce? Or is it equal for you, Kevin?
Not equal. Production is number one. Mm-hmm. When I first came to LA, I was basically doing compositions and basically sequencing on computer, and I start playing out. And when some of the vocalists started hearing me play, they said, "We like the way you sound." Yeah. So I start getting offered tours, but it was never the plan to do that. And then before I knew it, it was one after another. So playing is fine, but production is where I am the most comfortable. I can walk into any production situation and just know what to do and feel confident about it. The keyboard playing is a lot going on there, but that's not something that I had intended on focusing on so much.
How about you, Amanda, songwriter as well as fabulous vocalist? Are you the vocalist who likes to write music and song, or is it 50-50 for you, or does it change by mood and the day? Or
well, I mean, honestly, singing wasn't my first love. Acting is my first. I really enjoy that. And songwriting just came haphazardly. Like I said, it was a grief process when my father passed away that I really threw myself into music, and I started writing before I started singing.
Is there more acting coming for you? Would you like to pursue that more?
No. Music came like a flood. I mean,
and it is
so many opportunities for music, and there was no room for anything else. So yeah, I really enjoy songwriting, but I think singing is my gig, man. That's what I love to do, and I hope to do it for a very long time. I hope I can keep this voice for a long time. I think
you will. How do you care for it? Are there things that you do? Do you ever routine?
Oh yeah, it's a thing. Especially the older you get, it gets harder because I have acid reflux. And when you have that, you're always hoarse. So I have to follow a diet that keeps my voice healthy, that keeps my body healthy. You know, you have to work out, you have to, maintain your water levels, you have to be hydrated. And I also teach voice. So I formulated a plan for my students that that helps to keep them healthy, keeps their voices healthy, and to teach them the correct way to sing, and to not be so rely so much on computer correction or to rely so much on, outside interference. I try to teach them how to cultivate an art or to cultivate their voices in a way that is, theirs. It belongs to them. If you're going to be a singer, you have to sing. You can't rely on other things. So yeah, it's a tough thing, but it's my gig and I love it. I love it.
Exactly right. I tell you, and the technology and the way music is delivered to the public has changed greatly. Now it's all downloading, streaming, and you have to, I forget who it was on the other night. There's like, Jim, you have to have thousands and thousands of downloads to make $11 or so. It's just really amazing. You used to have the tour and the merchandise, and you got the product, the physical product, and everything. It has changed greatly, guys, hasn't it?
It really has.
Oh yeah, it's actually a major challenge in the situation we are in now. The kind of production I'm doing with Amanda is we call it, usually it's a big budget situation. So there's a lot of investment that you have to put into it. Once you invest the time, effort, and money into the actual product, then you're looking at 2 or 3 times that to do the marketing promotion. Back when I was coming up in the business, of course, you can couple with a company, whether it's a major or independent, and help do some of that heavy lifting. These days, it's not, since we're not really, and then back in those days, your hope was to get into where you're able to have several big record sales. So if you have a good song like To the Water, you're halfway there with the power that the record companies would have. Nowadays, as an independent, you have to figure it out. And it's an uphill battle to connect with that business model. So that's if you're trying to reach the masses. If you're just trying to do a local thing, or you're not, but if you have a song that's powerful and you want the world to hear it, it's going to be a task, a challenge.
A real challenge. Somebody who knows that as well too is watching and is a big fan of our show. He was a guest on our show recently, and it is the son of the legendary iconic singer Roy Hamilton. Roy Hamilton Jr. is here and says, "Hi, Jim. Greetings from Maria and I. Great show, great guests."
Oh, thank you. Wow.
Yeah, Roy.
Yeah, we've had some amazing. Bobby Wilson, son of Jackie Wilson, was here recently. And Benedito King, son of Ben E. King, of course, Stand By Me and all these songs. And Roy Hamilton, Unchained Melody and everything. Just really amazing. And he's here and he sends you guys love, as do all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Isn't that great?
That's great.
You guys are fantastic. I don't want to take too much of your time because I feel like, we're sitting on a couch just having, I don't know, fondue or something. It's just fondue. This was really great. And where can people go to hear the song, hear the music, get it, access it? Is it Spotify, iTunes, all the rest?
Yeah, so the easiest way, you can put Amanda's name into Spotify or Apple Music and it will pop up. Just put her name in. Put my name is the same thing. It'll pop up. And other than that, you can go to like my website, it's kevinflournoy.com. So on there, it tells you where to go and how to connect with that music and other music and projects I'm doing. And I think, man, you have
I do. It's on my YouTube channel, Amanda Cole Music. It's on my channel. It's on my Facebook, Amanda Cole on Facebook. Mm-hmm. It's at the Amanda Cole on Instagram and TikTok. So, yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
If you want to hear it,
today you got to be everywhere.
Can't miss it. Yes.
Yeah.
You got to be everywhere, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, one place you were and won't be the last is the Jim Masters Show, Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show Series. You guys are a joy and a blessing, and truly, thanks for all of the years of fabulous music. Looking forward to much, much more. Congratulations again on this. I encourage folks again, go to Apple iTunes, go to Spotify, hear it, download it, grab it, include it into your life, share it with others, have a great time listening. It's a spectacular, spectacular song. I had an opportunity to hear a preview of it. You're going to love it. We're teasing you with it now because we want you to go and check it out on the streaming services, get it. Go to the YouTube channel. You can hear as well. Kevin and Amanda, really, I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you. And as we just say here on the show, it's conversations, free flowing, not scripted, no questions, not an interview. It's a conversation amongst friends. And you are definitely welcome back here. I'll keep the porch light on for you both. Spread the word about our show, the Jim Masters Show. And come see us again. I really enjoyed the time with you, and I hope you did with me as well.
Thank you. I did. It was wonderful. Thank you so much for the invitation, Jim.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
Conversation. Yeah,
really great
conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. And as my dad said, and this audience has heard this 1,000 times, you know how you get sage advice from parents or grandparents or others in your life? My dad said to me when I was 7, and you'll appreciate this, he goes, I'm the 5th James. So he goes, Jimmy, remember now, whenever anybody says something kind or nice to you, always be sure to thank them for that. Then always be sure to ask them to take those words, put them in writing, and address them management.
That's smart.
How true is that? 7 years old, I learned that early.
Wow.
Sage advice.
Very good advice.
Very good.
That's it. Kevin and Amanda, you're the best. Come see us again.
You.
Keep me posted when you're in the area, East Coast, and we'll come and support and clap and wave. All right.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Come see us again. Kevin, thanks for joining us. Amanda, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see you again. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
How cool was that? What talents, what amazing people joining us here on the show. What an epic, unscripted conversation. Not only did you hear about their fantastic song, and again, we want you to go over to the streaming services. That's why we're telling you about the song, but go over to Spotify, go over to iTunes and check it out, download, support the artists, of course, as well as you heard. You know, it's a totally different world now. It isn't just because you hear the music industry and singers and songwriters and everything. It has changed. All of these industries have changed greatly. So got to support your favorite artists, your favorite TV shows, your favorite radio shows, your favorite people, and of course, including Kevin and Amanda, and of course, your favorite online entertainment lifestyle celebrity talk show series. We would love it if you help support us. And how can you do that? With all this great entertainment and these hundreds of episodes and amazing guests, you can give this episode a like. Yeah, strike a nice like. Do a like. What does that mean? Click the thumbs up button on the YouTube channel next to this episode. Like. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, where 1,100 plus episodes exist as of today. Leave a comment for us, interact with us on the YouTube channel in the comments section, and share this episode on your social media. And for all of you who have done that, thank you so very, very much for liking, watching, commenting, subscribing, sharing all around the world as we continue to grow by leaps and bounds. We really thank our very, very special guests joining us here on the show. Really epic. And I hope you guys had a good time. Of course, Kevin, an extraordinary performer himself, a revered and celebrated and award-winning record producer. He has worked with them all, and working with Amanda, and that mutual respect and admiration they have for one another is just absolutely spectacular. And again, Amanda Cole joining us as well. Thoroughly enjoyed chatting with her, even going back to the days when she was in the iconic group En Vogue, and talking about her love of the ladies and what it was like being a part of that group, and so much more. Really, really something special. Again, there is the song. You got a chance also to hear a little bit about the meaning of it, the vision, the purpose, what you can expect when you hear it. This is a labor of love from Amanda and Kevin, and you're going to really, really enjoy it. So we thank them. And of course, as we do here on the Jim Masters Show Live series, we thank all of you. Come back and see us. And if you want to see the episodes with the Pointer Sisters and Melissa Manchester and Freda Payne and Florence LaRue and so many other, Brenda Russell just about a week or so ago, Tony Orlando 3 times, some of your favorite stars from music, Broadway, television, film, sports, comedy, culinary arts, inspiration, all of life. We celebrate here on the Jim Masters Show, not just one category, in these conversational style presentations on JMS and here in Lovity Hall. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Thanks for all the great comments as well. We appreciate fabulous comments coming in from our Lovity squad. You guys are the best. Have a wonderful night. Thank you very much to all the Lovities. It's kind of like an episode of the Waltons, of which we had Michael Learned on just a couple of days ago. Of course, you know her. She was the mom on the Waltons, Olivia Walton. Check that episode out. And Petrie Hawkins Bird, Bailiff Bird from Judge Judy and more. He was on just last night. You guys, it's kind of like the Waltons, you know, good night, John Boy. And they all say good night to each other. That's what's happening right now in our Lovity Hall chat room. Thank you, Kathleen in New York City. Appreciate that as well. Sherry Larson in Kansas. You guys in the Midwest have been getting some unreal weather. We pray for everybody in the Midwest and the southern parts of the United States with all of the violent weather, the tornadoes and derechos and all these things that have been happening. Here on the coast so far, west and east, we've been okay, beautiful weather. But to our friends in Middle America, we send you our love and blessing and a lovely hug. It's been crazy. Roy Hamilton Jr., he and Maria love our show. We love them. Not everyone have a safe and wonderful Memorial Day weekend. That is this weekend at the time of our show. Thank you for all the women and men who serve our country. God bless America. Absolutely beautifully said, my friend, Roy Hamilton Jr., who's going to be performing Father's Day with Benedito King and Elvis Aaron Presley Jr. Do you know that Elvis Aaron Presley Jr. was on our show as well? Yes, if you didn't see that episode, I think well over 100,000 people have watched that episode of our show with that guest, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thanks for all the love, everybody, from everybody watching all around the world. Come see us again. I'm your host, Jim Masters, always having a good time with all of you. Hey, we brought the hat back for you tonight. I wore this hat in the early stages of our series. Love this hat. I'm a hat guy. But we figured we throw a hat on and we tip our hat to all of you, our faithful viewers. And again, to Amanda and Kevin for joining us here on the show. Check out the music. Come see us again here on the Jim Masters Show. Don't forget, love one another, take care of one another, and don't forget to love yourself. Really important to do that. We'll see you again on the next episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Come see us again. I'll be right here waiting for you. Take care. Be well. Happy Memorial Day as well. A beautiful weekend. We do have an episode coming up tomorrow with a special guest, so check that out. on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Real quick, if you missed anything or you joined us late on this episode, don't worry. It's archived. You can see the whole episode again here on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. See you soon. Cheers.